The first one I wanted to talk about today is Dr. Jordan Peterson, somebody I've brought up many times before on this podcast. He's one of my many influences into doing this and just for my political change over the last year or two. Anyway, the reason I bring him up is because I was browsing Twitter a couple days ago and I found a tweet by him. He had put out a tweet with a picture in it, and it was actually, as you can see here, it says, he's captioned as, "Those who consider themselves my enemies have been posting these all around my home neighborhood." And as we take a closer look at it, we can see it's a community safety bulletin, and it's targeting himself in his own home neighborhood. And it says, "Jordan Peterson, a local man teaching at the University of Toronto, has been campaigning against the human rights of women, people of color, Muslims, and LGBT people for over a year. Peterson has an open association with the neo-Nazis and the alt-right, even being referred to as a Nazi philosopher by the leader of the New Constitution Party of Canada. Due to pressure from Jordan Peterson's alt-right fanbase, the University of Toronto has not taken any action to fire him or disavow his attacks on minority groups. Unacceptable? We think so. Call David Cameron at the University of Toronto to let him know what you think." And then they give out the number and the email for the office of the dean. This really pissed me off when I came across it, because this community safety bulletin is full of lies. As we go through it, we can break it down little by little and see that none of it is true. He says he's been campaigning against human rights of women, people of color, Muslims, and LGBT. Well, they say that he campaigns against the human rights of women because he talks about the difference in gender. This is also why they accuse him of being against the LGBT community, because he won't use the gender pronouns and he believes in the binary, such as myself. I believe in the binary. Then they make reference to Muslims and people of color. I'm pretty sure you could probably just put these two together, because the people of color they're probably referencing to are the Muslims. But this is probably because he was opposed to M103, the motion that was looking into Islamophobia. Again, it's just a motion looking into it, but if a bill was to arise from it, then we'd have serious problems. At the moment, it doesn't do anything. It could be something that the government does look into. It could just be the government virtue signaling. I, too, was against Motion 103. I'm sure I have videos up on YouTube or other ones. I'm sure I have episodes up where I was talking about it. And I was against it, but we did have to recognize that it was just a motion. However, because he's talked about the problems with Islam and Islam as a religion, he also campaigns against their human rights. But these are all bullshit allegations they're leveling against him. As we can see, he's just a man with an opinion. And then they say he has open associations with neo-Nazis and the alt-right. Open association with them? No. Peterson has time and time again disavowed the alt-right, the white nationalists. They're making reference to this because he is close association with the Kekistani people, which, sure, there are alt-right people who are Kekistani, but Kekistanis are just all over. They're just people who are done with identity politics and want to give a big fuck you to the system. So that's all Kekistanis are, really. And it's just something that appeals to the white nationalists and the neo-Nazis. But he doesn't have open affiliation with them. In fact, he put out a video a few months ago where he was wrongly associated as being part of the far right. And he went back and he emailed the author and he told them, I'm not far right, I am a classic liberal. Classic British liberal. But they're putting these up in his own neighborhood. They've already tried before to go after him at his job. They did it last year, and they've taken a couple different shots at him trying to get him fired, which hasn't worked. So this is another attack against his character. But this time they went farther. Not only did they go after his job, now they went after his personal life too, which they've already tried, but this is on a different level. They went to his neighborhood, put up flyers, probably too, I would not be surprised, dropped them in mailboxes all around, and probably put them on doorsteps all over, to all his neighbors, slandering him as a neo-Nazi and part of the alt-right, which would make him a white nationalist too, which are complete bullshit. But have no fear for any Jordan Peterson fans out there who happen to be watching this. I'm sure by now you already know what's happened, but when Jordan Peterson tweeted this out, there was a campaign by his followers who emailed and called the University of Toronto and the Dean's office in support of Jordan Peterson. I happen to be one of them. This is my email I sent out. I just blanked out my email address because I don't want people sending me random emails to my personal email. But all I did is I put up my 2 cents on it. I told the dean how I felt that what was being said was a pack of lies and was propaganda, and at the same time, while this is an attack on Jordan Peterson, this is too an attack on the dean, David Cameron, because they're saying that he is not doing anything about this, associating himself with the alt-right neo-Nazis, especially someone like Jordan Peterson is a well-known figure, so they would be associating with a high-ranking figure of the neo-Nazi and alt-right movement, and that David Cameron is refusing to do anything about it, showing his complicity in white nationalism and Nazism. So this is as much a slanderous attack on David Cameron and the Dean and the University of Toronto as it is on Jordan Peterson himself, although it is a direct attack on Jordan Peterson as he is the main target. But by association, David Cameron is being attacked just as much, slandered just as much, and he needs to do something about this and put an end to this. Personally, I told him that he should stand with our side, Jordan Peterson's side. While I don't agree with Jordan Peterson on everything, one of the things I do disagree with him on a bit is religion. Of course I would to do that. But all in all, he is a good voice of reason in a time like this, and a necessary one. Him, along with people like Gadsad, Joe Rogan, and several others, are necessary people who need their voices heard because they bring actual truth and sense to the world. I know some people are put off at least by Gadsad's satire and sarcastic nature, but I actually happen to love it. But I just wanted to bring attention to this and just show to the extent that Jordan Peterson's enemies have to go to slander him, and this won't work. He's gotten too much support over the last year, and especially he's gotten too much support from his followers and his fans through this event, and he's been through so much more in the last year that this is not going to stop him, it's not going to get him fired. But it is once again a slanderous attack used by his enemies against him. All because he believes in the binary gender system, he has problems with Islam, and because he doesn't believe that women can do everything a man can do. And let's be honest, sure, a woman can do what a man can do, but that doesn't mean she's going to do it to just as the same degree. She's not going to be as good at it. And the same thing goes in reverse. There are things that women are good at that men would be not nearly as good at. We could do them, but we wouldn't be as good.